To do my little presentation on how COVID-19 impacts the online grocery retailers and supply and demand of essential items. I made this little PowerPoint to kind of help. So these are my sources. The ones on the top are the sources where I got most of the factual information from, and then the bottom is just where I got pictures and other images. So some interesting facts I found from these articles was between March 29th and April 12th, online retailers saw that their orders in the US and Canada increased from about 55% to 76%, which is a lot. And the US and Canada also shot up 42% to almost 90% year over year between March 29th and April 12th. So in March, online grocery sales stores in the United States jumped up 233% compared to August last year, which is a great amount. And we can also use our judgment to think that this could be also due to people not wanting to expose themselves at the grocery stores, and also because a lot of the items during this time period around March were the high essential need items were in low quantities at stores, and a lot of places were already shut down at this point. And then another interesting fact was around 31% of U.S. household items used in online grocery delivery or pickup services in March went and increased from 13% was what it was, and it increased to 31%, which is a lot. And of course, all of this is great for grocery and online retailers that sell groceries, but it also had negative effects on restaurants and fast food businesses, which I'll touch on a little bit throughout the PowerPoint. So addressing the first point I made was about shopping behaviors changing for consumers, and it shifted to more an online approach to in stores, and we can see this in this little table, so I'm just going to point to it here. So sales for online grocery delivery and pickups in August 2019 was only at 1.2 billion, and in March, when the virus was more prominent here and started catching fire in the United States, we see it jump to 4 billion. And so the percent changes here. So spending, the average spending also went up, which isn't shocking because people were buying more in bulk because they're afraid that those necessity items wouldn't be available later on. Here, this graph kind of just shows a little better representation. The blue line here is in-store purchases. This is going to be February, and then it's going to be early March. So we did still see an increase in in-store purchases, but we see the majority a bigger incline in online purchases, which again makes sense because a lot of people didn't want to get exposed, especially immunocompromised individuals or people with other health issues, and also just people more tech savvy might find it a lot easier to shop online, just have it come to their door, not putting themselves at risk or their family at risk. And then this is just how I connected the essential items to this class. So let's just say, for instance, Q1 here, this is the supply and demand curve. Let's say this would be the essential item in question, which in this case would be toilet paper, hand sanitizer, face masks. I know bleach was even an item that people were stocking up on. So that would be here. This would be the initial, and you can see supply and demand are at equilibrium. But as more people start to buy it, the supplies will actually get lower. So we see here that the supplies shift to the left. And then this is even a better representation showing demand. So this is the equilibrium, so before Corona, and then after Corona, we would see the demand for toilet paper and all those essential items go up. And even on this curve, so the supply would be somewhere around this region. So the supply will have shifted to the left, demand will have shifted to the right, making Q2 would be somewhere over here. This would be Q1. So the demand will have gone up and supplies will have gone down. And what happens when that, we'll talk about what happens when this happens. So oftentimes we'll see price gouging when the demand for a particular item is high, but the supplies are relatively low. So individuals will take advantage of people in need for those particular items and price them far above retail price and value. So I took this image off someone's Twitter. I saw it, and I mean, this is just sad. Like, you can see the toilet paper is very expensive, probably double, if not triple, the price you would pay when buying these things, maybe even 4 times the price on some of these, which is sad, but this is how it works when a demand is super high, but supplies are very limited for certain items. So, consequences for restaurants and fast food businesses. I just wanted to highlight this. I do work at Chick-fil-A, so luckily for us, we are a high volume store, so we haven't really had any big impact business wise. And because we do have a mobile app that keeps our sales relatively steady, but for other restaurants who maybe don't do as well for takeout, their food is mostly dine-in customer experience centered restaurant. You can see that after the virus, people chose to spend the money on groceries and less on these, so they valued the groceries more than these other items like health and beauty, entertainment, restaurants, transportation, sports and travel, which doesn't go as a surprise because also you have to take into consideration when you go out to eat at a restaurant, normally isn't many leftovers, normally a one-time serving instance, where groceries you can buy plenty, you can freeze them, they last a lot longer and can serve multiple dinners or meals. And here I thought it was interesting because prior to this whole pandemic, Starbucks was more up here, but you can see it's dipped way down along with like McDonald's and other fast food places because people just aren't valuing those items very high. A lot of people have lost their jobs, so these items are at the bottom of the list, whereas groceries still remain high on the necessity list for most. So just to connect a little bit of what I talked about to this class, so it looks like we've been experiencing a scarcity of certain items, but I honestly think it's just more due to the fact that people are stocking up and kind of hoarding those products and not leaving enough for others. The emptiness of the shelves leaves consumers to panic if they will have enough of these items available. This panic sets in, so supplies will decrease because more people will buy those items, and the demand for these items will also increase because people who don't have them, they're going to need them or want them, so that will increase. And it's kind of interesting to see how in a global crisis how much our economy is impacted and how much power the consumer has. So as consumers, if we really value toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and other items, those will be the items that will have a high demand and therefore low supplies, whereas other items you can still find very easily, like chips, just cookies, other items that people aren't really giving much value to at the moment are still easy to find. So consumers really do hold the power in that sense. And people are resorting to e-commerce to buy their household items and groceries more than ever before, just because I feel like it's simpler, easier, and it leaves the person at less risk than going out to the grocery store and exposing themselves to maybe hundreds of people at one time. And we can see the huge decrease in sales in restaurants and fast food businesses due to the pandemic, which is kind of sad. So I hope you guys take away from this PowerPoint. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Bye.